What's up, guys? Today we're going to do an in-depth review on a Forex trading tool called the Forex Dashboard Indicator app. Dashboard was kind enough to sponsor my YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. And of course, I appreciate all my subscribers and viewers out there for supporting me. Got a lot of great material coming for you guys. Of course, once you got the information in your hand, it's on you to take that shot. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. So in the iPhone, Apple Store, and the Google Play Store, you are going to search for Easy Indicators Dashboard. It is an all-in-one Forex indicator tool, especially good for scalpers like myself that like to enter and exit trades based on what's happening with the price structure and the math behind the technical indicators. So starting with the iPhone, this is your main home screen. It's called the watch list. You're going to use this to monitor different pairs at the same time without having to watch the charts and interpret what's going on based on lines going in different directions all over the place. So the first thing you need to do is add a pair or maybe two, but you add them one at a time. So you pick a pair that's going to populate here. If you wanted to add another pair, you could do so, and then you have three separate lists. So I can have one list here, a different list over here, or maybe the same pairs with different settings. And once you have your pairs on your watch list, what you're going to do is hit this gear settings icon. And now you're in your menu for all of the technical indicators you can be notified and keep tabs on, so to speak. So you know when these entry and exit rules are taking place without having to monitor the charts all day. So you can see you have a large library of indicators that you can apply to the watch list. And also when you hit the gear icon, it's going to be a great place to learn how these indicators work. Just hitting the learn more option, it's going to give you a full breakdown of how to use that indicator. So let's say, for instance, I want to monitor Bollinger Bands. Keep an eye on the top layer and the bottom layer are breached, because of course the price is going to return to the median, which is that middle line. So if you can be alerted every time the price hits one of those barriers, you're going to have a lot of good opportunities. So you just turn on the watch list for the pairs that you set. If I had one on 3, I would set 3 too. Okay, so we say EMA cross 520. We know that with the 5 being the faster EMA and the 20 being the slower EMA, death cross means the 5 is crossing below the 20. Golden cross means the 5 is crossing above the 20. And of course, these are all rules that you'll learn on your own. But the point is, this tool will help you monitor these rules without having to watch the charts all day. So I'm going to set up an EMA cross on my watch list, and let's say parabolic SAR. So now when I come back to my watch list, instead of having to go to MetaTrader 4, put all of those indicators on my chart and pay attention to where the price is and where the EMAs are in reference to price movement and trend action, etc. Now for each time frame, as low as the M5, I can be on the go or taking care of my normal activities, open up my watch list real quick and notice, hey, parabolic just shifted on the M15 for AUD JPY. I might want to open up the charts and see what's going on with that price structure, or which direction the price is really trending in, especially all the way down to the M1. So Just because it says buy, of course, it doesn't mean you need to enter into a buy, but it does let you know that something is going on that you may want to pay attention to. Now, of course, this is only a buy shift on the M15. So the next thing I would be looking for would be either for the M5 or the M30 to agree with that buy notification. But once again, this is a time saver because now I don't have to keep the chart open all the time. I can simply take a look at my watch list, and you can see on the Android devices very similar. You will add your pairs up here in the right hand corner, and you will hit this tab and go to the settings/subscriptions icon to find your indicator library, and just hit settings on each one of those to turn on the watch list. So that's how you use the watch list. Now we're talking about strategies with the Easy Indicator Dashboard app. The first strategy we're going to talk about is RSI divergence. And divergence is important because a lot of people want to know, do indicators really work? Are they right all the time? Can I make money with technical indicators? Of course, you can make money with technical indicators just like any other information in Forex. It just has to be properly applied. And what divergence actually means is that the indicators are not agreeing with the price action, which does happen at times. You just have to know how to identify and avoid making bad decisions based on what the indicators are telling you. So a good way to do that is actually by monitoring what's called divergence. And this will automatically monitor RSI divergence for you, let you know when pairs are bearish or bullish based on divergent patterns. This will keep you from making bad trading decisions, because if your indicators are telling you that it's a good idea to enter into a buy, but you notice that there is bearish divergence, you might want to stay out of that trade, or at least wait for things to materialize a little and make the picture a little more clearer. You might be headed for a period of ranging, or it could just be a bad day for the market. Maybe some bad news, something's going on in politics. On Android, to get to your strategy section, you're going to use that menu bar up at the top, and you will select either RSI divergence or multi-time frame RSI. Now, multi-time frame RSI, if you guys are familiar with the relative strength index, it's an oscillator, so it usually sits on the bottom half of your chart. If RSI is below 30, it's considered oversold, and if it's over 70, it's considered overbought. So people will use that rule and align it with other indicators to let them know when it's time to buy or sell based on how close the RSI is to that 30 or 70 number. One thing a lot of people don't consider about RSI, any indicator, is that you have to consider and know how to interpret multiple time frame data, because you're looking at different windows of data. So the multi-time frame RSI tool actually does that for you. It's going to consider all of the time frames when telling you whether the pair is trending down or up. So this is just another area you can reference to verify whether it's a good ideal or a bad ideal to go ahead and enter that buy or sell that you're seeing with your other rules. And so now we're moving on to my favorite part of the app, which is the alert section. Guys, this is probably the most, well, as far as my opinion anyway, this is the most valuable feature of the app, because it allows you to go about your business and almost get signal.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people pay monthly or large sums of money for what's called signals, which is basically just a notification that it's time to make a trade. And that's exactly what you're able to do with this app in the alert section. So on your Android device, I'll show you first. You're going to hit your menu button, come down to alerts, and as you can see, I already have 7 alerts set up for GBP JPY on several different time frames. You're going to hit the add button, and it's different on Android than it is for iPhone. I'm glad I'm showing you this first. So Android, you're going to select your indicator, your pair, and your time frame all in one place. And as you can see, when you download this app without subscribing or without paying $1, you're going to get access to a lot of tools, but they're going to limit you when it comes to the time frame. So you'll only be able to set alerts starting at H1, H4, D1. You'll actually have to subscribe to be able to set alerts on the lower time frames, because these are the ones, more than likely because these are the ones that are more beneficial to scalpers and will make you money quicker, in my opinion. Anytime an EMA cross happens, GBP JPY on the H1 time frame, I'm going to get an alert up here that tells me that the EMA cross just happened on GBP JPY H1. I'll know immediately to open my chart looking for a buy if it's a golden cross and a sell if it's a death cross. But once again, I'm going to verify, cross my dots and my I's, make sure I'm actually making a good decision instead of just doing what a notification suggests. This is just meant to lead you in the right direction, and that's how you want to use this information. So you'll actually set a alert for each indicator on each time frame for each pair. So you can only do one at a time, which is better illustrated here on the iPhone because it makes you do everything one step at a time. So the first thing you're going to do is select the indicator you want to set an alert for. Let's say we want to set it up for Bollinger Band crossover. I'm going to select my pair, GBP JPY. And then, of course, I'm subscribed over here on my iPhone. I can now set indicators all the way from the M5 up to the D1. So that would be 6 different alerts for one indicator. So I set up Bollinger Bands for M5. I'll come back, set up Bollinger Bands on GBP JPY again for M15. I'll come set it up again for M30, and so on and so forth. And now every time there's a Bollinger Band upper or lower barrier threshold cross on GBP JPY, I will get an alert on my iPhone in the notification section if it happens on M5, M15, M30. I get an EMA cross alert on H1, D1, H4. I get parabolic SAR flip alerts on H4, D1, H1. Ikomoku cloud alerts on H4, D1, H1. I can add alerts for all of the time frames I make my entry decisions from. And if I'm notified that I need to get into a buy, I'll look for that buy. Once I enter that buy, all of the following notifications that come after that, as long as they continue to say buy, new buy alert, I know I'm comfortable staying in that buy. Of course, with a proper stop loss set, got to do risk management. But now once you have you've done the homework to determine where you want to set your stop loss based on support and resistance, all you have to do is monitor these notifications to know if you're still in a good trade or not. Once one of the rules changes directions on you, you know it may be time to cash out or take your losses on that trade, because that current trend or that current wave that you were trying to ride has either ended or interrupted. And this is the perfect tool to keep you up to date on that information. On the roll
quick notification that the Bollinger Band crossed below on the lower band, GBP JPY M5, right after a golden cross on the H1 about 22 minutes ago, you see there. So what I do, opened up a buy, keep you updated on that. It's just a little bit later in the afternoon, still on the road. We entered that trade a little while earlier. Let's see how we doing with it. Okay.
Alert Plus on your iPhone and iPad actually allows you to customize the settings of the alert. So over here, your basic Bollinger Band crossover is going to be on a 20 period setting. So Bollinger Band is standard set period to 20, which is default on MT4 anyway. But let's say you gone above and beyond and found a different setting to either combine with the 20 or use instead of the 20. Now with the Alert Plus option, I can actually customize that period to a different number instead of just 20. I've got more options as far as setting my notifications, as well as I can monitor a lot of different kinds of setups without having to pile on a bunch of indicators onto my charts and play around with a bunch of different settings. I can just monitor it all in one place at one time and get alerts. Okay, so the last thing we're going to go over a couple additional features for the Easy Indicators Dashboard app. On your Android version, you're going to hit your menu icon and go to Indicators. And on iPhone, you're just going to hit your menu icon, your More icon, and go to Library. It's going to bring you to the library of indicators. Now, this is going to be very helpful for you guys that like to trade a lot of different pairs and focus on finding as many opportunities as you possibly can for your strategy. So let's say, for instance, you're an RSI trader and you're looking for opportunities to buy and sell overbought, oversold pairs. You're going to select RSI in the indicator library. On iPhone, you would simply hit that menu icon and come down and find RSI. And now you're going to be able to scroll through all the pairs and view where RSI is on multiple time frames. Now, of course, they're only going to give you the M5 scalping time frame if you're subscribed to the app. So just keep that in mind. For free, you're going to get M15 and up. You subscribe, you get all the way down to the M5. Now, there are some other features to this app, but unfortunately on the Android version, you'll have to hit more apps and scroll through this list to find additional tools that you can use that are actually all included on the iPhone app, which is what I'm going to show you right here last. You go back into the menu section, you'll see you have a tool section. Hit currency strength. It's going to pop up, let you know which currency is the weakest and which one is the strongest on each time frame. And if you select each time frame, it even gives you a full chart so you can see all of the currencies rather than just weakest versus strong. Daily top movers, it's going to let you know which pairs have the most price action, anywhere from a 1-day span all the way up to a 5-day span. You can see which pairs are moving. Pivot point is probably my favorite additional tool to the app. This is going to let you know where the major areas of support and resistance are. Sorry about that autofocus. But you scroll through the pairs and you can find 3 major areas of support, a pivot area, and 3 major areas of resistance to base your trade entry areas as well as your stop loss and target profit areas. And then you also have a link for Forex hours, which is going to let you know which markets are open, which markets are closed, what time it is in their respective market. And lastly, if you touch the economic calendar, it's going to bring you straight to the Forex Factory economic calendar site where you can keep an eye on all of the news. So like I was saying, it's an all-in-one tool. Usually you'll have 4 or 5 apps to check all of this information. Now you have it all in one place. Appreciate you guys taking the time to check out my video today. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification icon down there. That way you're notified every time I drop some new content. If this was helpful for you, definitely hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And then if you have any questions, comments, feedback, whatsoever, make sure you leave a comment down here down below. I make sure I check and respond to all the comments, guys. So always appreciate your feedback. Take care.